Hello children, welcome to today's session. We have learned about planning and making of the Indian Constitution in a previous session, right? So let's discuss about the essential features of the Indian Constitution in today's session. There are five important essential features. They are federalism, parliamentary form of government, division of powers, secularism, fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Let's learn about all of these one by one in detail. So, first let's learn about what is federalism. It can be defined as a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority and constituent political unit. Didn't understand, right? Let me clear this for you. Which is our country? It's India, right? But do you know, children, the Constitution of India states that India is a federal state. How it can be a state? It's a country, right? Then why do we say it a state? Here, the word state is not government. It refers to a political institution that represents the sovereign people who occupy a definite territory. Which means India have a definite boundary and we make our decisions independently. We don't have to ask any other nations to make any decisions in our country. So, these 2 points make India a state. So, here state is an idea. So, now we can come to the point why India is called a federal state. This is because here the power is divided between the union government or the central government and the state government. Now think, why do we have two types of government? Why the power is divided between the central and the state? Why can't we have one government that can govern the whole country? So, it is very difficult to take care of entire country by one government. That is why the power is divided between the central and the state. It helps the government to function efficiently and also maintains diversity. The next feature is parliamentary form of government. The actual definition of this term is a system of government having the real executive power vested in a cabinet composed of members of the legislature who are individually and collectively responsible to the legislature. We have a parliament in our country. Then who will be there in the parliament? They are the representatives. Then who are they? They are the leaders who got elected by us. Then children, do you know what they will do in the parliament? These representatives represent our interest and they are answerable. How they are answerable? If any work is not done, then we have all the rights to question them and they have to answer. For example, if there is no proper transport in our district or state, we can always question our representatives for providing a proper transport. Then they need to answer and they need to solve that problem. So the members in the parliament run the government. So this is also called as cabinet form of government. The next feature is division of powers. What does it mean? Here, the Indian Constitution divides government's power into three organs. They are legislative, judiciary and executive. Children, do you know why did the Indian Constitution divided the power between the three organs? The Indian Constitution is very smart. That is why it divided the power between the three organs. Because later on nobody should say that we are superior, we have more power and you don't have any power. It should not happen. So here each body of the government keep a check on the abuse of power by the government, as each body of the government will keep an eye on the other. Then how do they work? Here the power is divided like this. The legislative is to make laws and executive is to implement the law. And finally, judiciary punishes who breaks the law. Let's take an example of coronavirus. Now the government legislature has made a law that everybody has to stay home. It is lockdown and it got implemented by the executive. So wherever we are going, we need to wear a mask, we need to avoid the crowd, we need to maintain the social distance, right? What if we don't follow the rules or the law? Then comes for the police and the court that they will punish the people who breaks all these rules. So this is about the division of powers. The next important feature is secularism, that can be defined as the belief that religion should not play a role in government, education or other public parts of society. Let me make it more clear to you. Here the word secularism in India, which means India as a country does not promote any one particular religion. Which means India is not a Hindu country or a Muslim country or a Christian country. We can follow any religion in India. So here the government of India does not promote any one particular religion. Next important and the last feature of the constitution is fundamental rights and fundamental duties. The Indian constitution makes sure that it grants necessary fundamental rights to all the citizens, like right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, etc. We are not going to study about all these fundamental rights and duties in detail in this class. Let's learn about this in detail in our next chapter. The next important topic is constitutional amendment. It can be defined as the changes made to the legislation for the purpose of adding to, correcting or modifying the operation of the legislation. Which means the constitution makers wanted to make our constitution flexible as to prevent unwarranted rigidity and be able to adjust to the constantly changing necessity of people. Hence, we can change the constitution by adding or removing or modifying according to the current scenario. For example, previous the voting age was 21 years. So, according to the 61st Amendment Act, which was passed in the year of 1989, the voting age was lowered from 21 years to 18 years. So children, in this session we have learnt about the key features of the Indian Constitution. They are the federalism, parliamentary form of government, division of powers, secularism and fundamental rights and duties. Now, this is the end of our session. Let's meet again in our next session.